Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dungeon Minister. I can't do it without the sound editing machine and with the kobolds in the sound booth. I don't have kobolds here tonight. I just have me and my wife looking at me like I'm a little strange, and the children freshly tucked into bed. Of course, I probably didn't plan this terribly well tonight. There's also a game night at the friendly local game shop. So eldest and I came roaring in at about 9 o'clock, a little after 9. And so we were getting all into bed and tucked in and all that kind of good stuff. So I didn't get here until just a few minutes ago. So I'm a little, but that's all right. That's all right. Who do we got out there now? I'm looking at two different places. I got my screen over there. I got my computer set up over here. And but I also have my phone down there. So hello, we got Patrick, Iowa Woodsman, Mercurius, Aldicus, Nordic Maelstrom, John Stewart Keller, Uncle Brat, and yes, hello, that's who I see. Mark Dickey as well. Hello, good to see you all tonight. And I have tube chips as per usual. Now my phone is cycling away. It says it doesn't have a signal. I'm hoping that you do. I don't know. Can you see me or hear me? Anybody else lose signal? Signal coming back? There we are. Are we back? Good heavens. I'm going to be in and out tonight. I can just tell. It's going to be one of those nights. At any rate, though, even if choppy, it's good to see you all. I've got my tube chips. I'm ready to go. So, first of all, thanks for coming. Tonight, I'm going to do some crafting. I'm going to keep craft stuff in these wicker baskets. I've got two of them. One is for tools and one is for materials. And they both overflow. Maybe need that. So what am I doing? Probably going to need something like that. Oh, I've got a better one somewhere. Probably going to need that. Won't need that. I won't need this till much later. Probably not tonight. Sorry about the sound. I've got the dishwasher going in here as well. This is why I record at the church, so that I can be heard. Yeah, sorry about losing it for a moment. Where our, the internet connection here is a bit dicey. Hey, Tonka's in the front row pew. Hey, how are you doing? Stu Rat is on. Refreshing the page worked for me. Excellent. I think it was more on my end than yours, but still. Crafting some activation markers for GMT these days. 3 days of Gettysburg. Cool. I notice I'm lagging terribly on my phone. There we go. All right. What am I going to need? I got, definitely super glue. All right. What am I doing? So I'll want that. I have I also have an announcement to announce, but I'm gonna wait a little bit to announce the announcement. I'm going to wait a little bit because I like, drama and build-up. If you haven't noticed with the cliffhangers and everything. I still have so many minis that Grumpy Old Slan sent me from his friend. So many that some have made it into the game. Others have yet to, but will at some point. But the Pish Shiog? Yeah, the Pish Shiog is one of them. Anyway. So, I probably have told you in the past that I really like dollar stores for crafting stuff. Most people who do terrain and that kind of thing do. They're great for picking up odd item. I saw somewhere, I think it was on a Facebook group I'm I'm in. Someone had taken one of their Halloween snake. You know that at Halloween they have skeletons of everything. Skeleton cats, the skeleton bats. There's even skeleton spiders because somebody doesn't know how skeletons work, or they're being funny. They don't know how exoskeletons work. But they also have a whole bunch of these jobs. They're little skeleton guys, right? They've got a hole in their head. I think they're meant to hang from something. And one drawback is that there's no back on their head. And they don't have a back rib cage. Their bones are kind of flattened. But I want to try something with this. I have an inkling that this could be useful to make, don't want the kids to hear this, an undead giant. And I want to base him on this. But I want to pose him. I don't want him standing there like that, right? So I've got to be able to pose him. Bending him. And you can get his arms to move a little. Not going to be enough. So here's the debate, and I'm going to ask this in the group. Should I get the heat gun really hot, melt the joints a bit, position them while they're melted, or should I cut them and then glue them? That's the question. So I'm going to let that percolate because I know there's a lag going on, and I'm going to read some comments in the meantime, and I'm going to turn over here to do that. Lost audio. That's earlier. 5x5 and 0 lag. That's good. Hello, Hungar. Hello, Loosely Collected. Decado, you had some excellent terrain. Decado had a setup. I mean, it was massive. This thing was huge. It covered the table. A really cool bridge that I think I'm going to shamelessly steal. Hello, Lord Corion. Hail and well met to you too. Cut and glue, that way you can have the arms going any way you wish. That's true. Or dip in really hot water and bend it. That would be a heat gun. Heat and bend first, then cut, pin, and glue. Can we get a better look at the joints? Heat gun. I got lots of. Now it's got to be a heat gun because I don't have a heat gun. What I've got is a glue gun that gets very hot, and I can use the tip of it. So wire frame to make it posable. Oh, that would be cool, but then I have to get a wire frame worked into it too. And these bones are not thick. There's no room to get anything inside of there. Is it soft enough plastic to use the hot water as a method to change the pose? I don't know that it is. I don't know. Cut and paste. You get a weird effect if you bend them. I suspect so. Okay. I think I'm going to cut. I think I'm going to cut and glue. Because I think that will give me the most options. I'm leery though because my suspicion is that A, I will run out of glue, and B, I mean I do have others, but this is the gel stuff, and I've never had as much luck with it. No, this is the gel. This is all-purpose. It may be dry. I don't know. This I know is fresh, or not fresh, but it's kind of fresh. I just don't want to lose. I don't want to run out halfway through. And then I also have to address the fact that it has no back on it. Now, what I want to do here on the back is I want to take a bit of fabric and actually drape it. I'd have to cut some of these corners off, drape it in a cloak. I'd like it to be really long, though, so I've got a big honking piece of material. The color doesn't matter that much because I'll paint it. What I want to do is soak it in glue and water and shape it, right? I don't know that I'll get to all that tonight, but shape it as a cloak, right? It's the idea. And then for the head, because again, the head has no back on it, I'm going to make a sort of chainmail coif. Anyway, head thingy. out of the same paper towel that I used for the goblin tanks because it makes a pretty good chainmail, I think. Yeah, that's the idea. I'm playing dress up with my dolls. Anyway, that's the idea. Lord Corion's on the grind. Cut sections of paper clips to use as pins. The problem, Uncle Brett, is there is absolutely nothing to put the pins into. This is extremely thin. There's nothing that would hold the pin. I get what you're saying, and that would be good if the bones were just a little bit thicker. A little bit thicker. We are making an undead skeleton tonight, Vincent, out of a dollar store. Cut some holes in the cloak and then dip it in either tea or use a brown wash. Yeah, I mean, like I've got this, I've got a truly enormous piece of white muslin, really thin. I probably will make it. If I make it out of the black, I'll just leave it black. Even if I make it out of the green, I'll leave it green because I think it's pretty good. That's a pretty good color for a cloak. I just have to find out what length, it's all it really is doing is covering up the fact that he has no back ribs. So, okay, enough blabbing. No dark helmet. I didn't see you playing with your dolls again, sir. Oh, dark helmet, your helmet is so big. All right. Okay. Glasses off. I'm getting serious. So I have an announcement. I don't see how many people we got going on here. Where does it tell you how many are watching? I can't see. Cool. All check. Not that I think it's cutting anything out. Like a Holocaust cloak from Princess Bride. We still have that Holocaust cloak we got from Miracle Max. You liked it so much, he said I could keep it. Okay. Here goes an arm. This is going to cost me an arm and a leg, people. Ouch! You can't see what it's doing. It's right beneath the camera. Here. Crafting view. There you go. You won't see my face. That'll rate this video higher on YouTube if you can see me. You can't see my face. So let's see. This arm. I didn't even think about what the arm's doing before I went and cut it off. Maybe I want that one hanging down at his side. This one. Yeah. Okay. A little bit of surgery, Skelly. There you are. Didn't hurt at all because you have no nerve endings. All right, and I'm going to want him stepping forward a little bit. So I'm going to have to cut the leg off too, aren't I? Yes, I are. Painting HeroQuest. Hello, Chris. Welcome from DM Tales. He's good people. Glue two of them together, then kill the front side. The undead giant turns around. They have to fight another one. I like that. Okay. Oh. Sorry, Mr. Skelly. I know. You've already had a rough life. I mean, you're dead and everything. You're having a rough undead life. So tonight at the friendly local, and I'm going to keep his head just like it is. I'm not messing with that. I don't have. The thing is, the head actually twists. I suspect really just weakened the plastic, so I may throw some super glue around his neck joint. But okay, now, can I bend this stuff? Yeah, you know what? Actually, the knees bend okay because they are actually thinner at the plastic's thinner at the knee. The foot might be another issue. And this does not have a nice clean cut. If I try to cut that off, it's going to be kind of weird. But I don't want him to be like tip, 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 tip. That would be weird. So yes, Uncle Brad, I am wait, I'm dead. Never mind. Okay. Let's see. What do we What do we think on this? It is kind of a soft plastic. I could try what you're talking about, the hot water effect. That would involve me leaving an empty screen for a little while. Actually, it is not bad. There, that's not bad. So if he's putting that foot behind, stepping forward with this one. I'm stepping out. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. All right. Probably get demonetized for that. I should, at any rate. I am the secret necromancer, a ballerina in its form. Like, there you go. It's a giant ballerina skeleton. I'm thinking I might put a rock under stepping up on a, heroic pose kind of deal. So my big announcement, imposing fighter or spooky. I'm kind of going for, I'm hoping for imposing fighter. So definitely not the ballerina look. If I did, let's see. It's got a walking. Yeah, I go walking after midnight, out in the moonlight, just like we used to do. I'm always walking. I'm really getting demonetized now. Stop singing! If I do this, yeah. I have room on my base. It's all about that base. Yeah, okay, that's cool. That works. That works. I can do that. Okay. So you shouldn't be as bent. You should be a little bit more bent. And I am definitely bent. Okay, how about if I just a little bit of a nick. Not going to cut it. Just going to score it. Oh, that broke through anyway. So if I throw some blue on that, I'll be able to, that'll work. That'll work. Okay. Arms. Now the nice thing is once you cut them off, they're sort of he's sort of ambidextrous. You can go either way here. You can flip or flop. Yeah. Let's see what do we got. We got. All right. My big announcement. I keep coyly referring to and then not making. Oh, I'll wait a little longer. I'll wait a little longer. I am going to try to get a stick, and I'll work out a spearhead at a later date. So he's got a weapon. So it's going to be one hand low, one hand high. I'll have to manage the... One hand is going to be higher. I don't know. This is, I have to tell you, this is how I do it. Like, I don't have a real plan. I just sort of start and screw things up and fix them and then go back and do them again. That is how all of my terrain crafting, all of my everything happens. I think we can find tools for the tutu. He is Patrick. Probably that comment got caught in the leg. Yeah, he's gonna hold a spear. He's gonna have quite a bend here in his joint. So he's up there. He's gonna turn his hand. This one's down there. It's gonna be like this. So like that. I think that'll work. Maybe. Okay. I'm probably going to have to commit the cardinal sin of live streaming and leave an empty screen for a moment because I forgot my chunks of foam to put the little rock there. You can look at a can of tube chips in the meantime. I'll be right back. You know what they say, home fix-it job isn't complete unless you've gone to the hardware store like 6 times. Well, crafting job isn't. Oh, here, I'll take the tube out of the way. Crafting job isn't completed unless you've gone to the craft box a few times. Craft shelf. I'll have something in here that works. Okay. Hello and Melmet tube chips. Yeah, product placement. Product placement for some no-name chips. No-name salt and vinegar this time. Are very vinegary. If you like vinegar, that's your jam right there. Okay. Cool. Now, here's my rock. Yeah, over there. Watch Father Aaron slice his hand open on live YouTube. Say my eldest, Fleetwood, is now doing a lot of crafting. He really gets into it, and he has his online crafting heroes like Battle and Barrow. And he watching him, use a razor blade, an Olfa knife like this, is a practice in trust as a parent. I have to say, base has to lose some of its squareness. It's just too dumpy, probably too high as well. Shouldn't have a flat top. Yeah, I'm just sitting here watching him, go hacking at foam. I think, oh dear heavens, what have I done? Raising a kid to swing an awful knife around, but he's actually quite careful with it. He's just like the way he plays. He plays very cautiously. Fleetwood's always the one who's, like, oh, hang on, let's think about this. And Touchberry's running in wild. Eldest is a cautious. I think the eldest tends to be, right. You get Prince William. He's all very, dutiful and knows the job and sucks it up. And then there's Harry. Whee! Although our middle guy isn't really like that much. He's not. He plays Touchberry that way. He's personally not really like that. Okay, that's good. That's not a bad rock. Okay. If that wants to live there, that could work. So they just have to end up at about the same height. It's all okay. That works. You can cut a giant tower shield out of the tube chips. Hey, there you go. He could have a shield. You know what? He could have a shield slung to his back. That would be easier than a cloak. But I kind of have my heart set on a cloak. But a shield would be cool. He's gonna have a spear though. So looking chipper, totally tubular. Yeah, my big bag of foam. That's just my scraps. I bought, with the support of my patrons. Thank you, patrons. With the support of my patrons, I bought some XPS sheets, and 2 of them. So I've got pink foam for the rest of my life. Have I read the Warlord Chronicles? I have not. Nordic, I have not. I've not read it. What, aside from being about a warlord, what is the, what's the story with it? Plugging in the hot glue gun as I chew. What's the story on Warlord Chronicles? Hello to anyone who's new here, or James Seymour. Making train on a church mouse's budget. I tell you, I was, and I still don't. I'm not flagrant in my purchases. I like to be cautious with the money, but I did, get some things that allowed me to be a little more free in the crafting process, due to, again, the generosity of my patrons and folks who super chat. That has really helped. And I have to be honest, perfectly honest, the way the economy is going sometimes, what Patreon goes to is groceries and eating and things like that. Okay, this is the fearsome moment. This is the fearsome moment. The story of Arthur. Cool. Arthurian legends without the high fantasy. About 100 years after the Roman withdrawal from Britain. Sounds cool. A spear and a shield. Yeah, I think the spear... Well, you know what? The thing is, though, the spear, what I could do... Let's face it. I could do there, and the spear could go down to the base. The spear could go down to the base. That would actually... could add some stability, because I think this thing's going to be kind of boingy. A third point of contact would probably help. It couldn't hurt. It couldn't hurt. I'm going to say that right now. Well, it could hurt. Everybody hurts. See, it's getting demonetized. Right, left, and center. So a lot of people know the Warlord Chronicles, so I do need to check them out. Sorry, I keep looking off over that way. It's because the computer screen is there. And it's easier to read there than the tiny print on my phone. I don't even know why I have I think I have my phone going so that I know if I get lag. If my signal here starts to get too extreme. But of course, the irony is that by having my phone on, it's drawing more of our internet. Sorry, skeleton in my lap. You're using up more bandwidth, so I'm making my own problems. Typical. I just keep looking at that and thinking there's no way on earth I'm actually going to be able to make that work, but I bet I can. And if I can't, I'll just stick foam under the other foot too, and it'll just be standing on a bunch of rocks. Boingy is an official Canuckistan word when talking about rubber skeletons. If you're talking about rubber sheep, it's ploofly. And rubber beavers, well, we don't talk about that on a family show. All right. It's got to be hot enough by now. Just a drop of glue and stick him down right at the edge. Jawohl. This is how we do these things. And I will put the tube chip under the hot glue gun so the drips don't get on my table. Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Here's the moment of truth, my friends. A moment of truth. Truth or dare? Do you dare me to tell the truth? The truth is, I'm terrified that this won't work. And I don't have any glue left in here. That's the truth. The truth is I have no super glue left. That'd be hilarious. Entire stream canned for lack of super glue. Well, that one's dry. I do have another that I'm hoping has something in it. Boingy, boingy, boing. Candy, 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 candy. What do you say this, you crazy little kid? Wait, there is glue in there. That's happy. That's happy. Now just take, will you? Stop sliding around. I cannot do this if they will not stick. If I have no glue, I cannot do. I thought that other one had more in it. You can't really hot glue this because you're going to get big old globs, right? I mean, let alone the strings. Those you could trim off, but the big globs of glue. No, that's not. This does not stick. Why does it not stick? It's got lots of goop there. I see it. All purpose, but apparently not for skeleton. I feel like a very, very cheap, like the poor man's Ray Harryhausen, because it's not going to move, and it's probably going to fall apart. Of course, his fell apart too, but only after, Jason hit them very hard, or Ulysses was Ulysses. Oh, Jason the Argonauts. Ah! Come on, you stinker. What is wrong with you? Someone out there is yelling that I have the wrong brand of glue or something. I've got the long drying unsuper glue. Took my glasses off so I can't read the comments now. That was not smart. I'll read comments and catch up in a moment after I glue myself to this skeleton. Is this riveting or what? Okay, my big announcement. My big announcement is that as of today, we are official. Claricon, a small... That's not happening. It's not happening. A small sort of old school gaming convention is happening in the village where, that's right, it melts. In the village on which Honeywood is based, which is Glen Williams, Ontario. Claricon is happening on November 3rd and 4th, and I think it's going to go through to the 5th as well. I know the 3rd and 4th. The 5th is a little tentative. There's a little clue. A little tentative, but I think it's happening. It is going to be a convention focusing, as its primary focus will be old school gaming. Hey, thank you. I see. I don't have my glasses on, so I don't know who that was or how much it was for, but thank you very much. Old School Gaming Con, November 3rd, 4th, and let's go ahead and say 5th. Glen Williams, Ontario. There is a hotel in the nearby town of Georgetown that has relatively reasonable rooms, I think, and nothing's terribly reasonable anymore. If you're in the GTA, then obviously you have a leg up. It's stuck. You've got a leg up if you're in the GTA. You're close by. That's stuck. I can go over and look. Thank you, Lord Corion. Claricon. Yeah, so we're gonna. I'll go ahead and pull this over. Is Barkle going to kill the mayor's daughter like he did Alina during the aftermath of the Battle of Honeywood? No, it won't happen, but it's sort of foreshadowed. Oh, well, who's gonna... The Skull did say that he would be needed for that episode. And Harper Valley GTA, not Grand Theft Auto. GTA, Greater Toronto Area. Sorry, I'm using local slang. Like when it's glued to the priest. Sinbad faced only one. Got any baking soda to help set the glue? Loosely collected. Good idea. It is hard to glue loosely collected. It really is. I'm going to see if I can get another blob out of that little tiny tube. I hope I haven't let it sit too long and glue itself shut. I probably have. Nope, I haven't. It really is hard to glue together. There he is. I mean, we're not talking about world-class miniature making here, folks. I'm sorry to say. Battle and Barrow, Black Magic Craft, I ain't. But I do have tube chips, and I do have... you know what I got? I got, earlier today, I bought a bottle of mead. My wife and I have been looking all over for mead. She was actually at our local liquor store. Here in Ontario, the liquor was all sold by... Oh, it's a little loose still. It's all sold from a... At least formerly was all sold from a government-controlled store, the LCBO, Liquor Control Board of Ontario. They have stores all over the place. And there's one just really just across the street from us. This is a convenient place to live, you know. But she was in line there buying a couple bottles of wine or something one time. And there was a young man in line in front of her. I say young man because I'm now old. And he was talking to the clerk, the cashier, and saying, look, I'd like to give you my card. I work for a meadery. I think meadery is the term. I work for a place that makes mead. And I'd wonder if you guys would like to carry mead here. If you guys would be at all interested in carrying our products. And the clerk said, people in this town won't drink mead. He said, well, what do they drink? And she said, liquor. Hard liquor. And I get why she said it. The town does have that reputation. It's kind of a hard scrabble town. Its industry collapsed back when all North American industries were collapsing. And so there's a certain attitude that the place is just too hard scrabble for that kind of nonsense. But you know what? Like, there stood my wife, and she says, I wish I'd said something. I wish I'd gotten his card. But it was just sort of the clerk's response was just a little too shocking. It was like, what? I just splattered glue on myself. That'll never come out of my clothes ever again. Oh well. Yeah, so anyway, since then, we've sort of wondered about, we've been like looking for a place that would make mead. And on our way up camping this week, we went through a little town called Honeywood. There actually is a Honeywood, Ontario. It's a little tiny postage stamp of a village. Smaller than the one that the game setting is based on. Smaller than Glen Williams. And but we went through the town, and just to be kind of fun, I thought, I'll take this route. It didn't take much longer. It allowed us to go, go through and see it. And oh, thank you, Uncle Brett. We need hard scrabble mead. Let the meadery sponsor tasting event and see if the mead sells. You know what? That's not a bad idea. Yeah, so we came across this place, this meadery on the way. I know. I probably can't. Won't let me. Yes, it will. And we thought, oh, that's fabulous. Let's go in. And so we stopped and turned around. It's on this blind hill, so we're taking our lives in our hands, doing a Yui on the on the highway, and doing a Yui on the freeway. That would be taking your life into your hands. Doing a Yui on the highway. I get back to the thing. We get back in, and they're closed. Right? Their sign says they're open, but they're closed. Okay, fine. Go to their website. Oh, they'll be open on Thursday when we're coming back. Great. We'll stop in on our way back. I'm kind of thinking a sort of back here, like the arms swinging back. Does that look good? Oh, can you even tell from there? Yeah, we thought we'll stop in, and they said they'd be open, and they weren't. So we sort of, yeah, that looks okay. That's not great. Again, I'm no Harryhausen. Although, if I put it here, I could still do but I know I need the third point of contact. I need the third point of contact. So I am going to put a spear going down to the ground. Yeah. I'll still have the arm coming slightly forward, though. That look cool. More of a beer, cider, and whiskey guy, loosely. Well, I'm more wine, really. But back to Grand Theft Auto. James, in the English part, Toronto. Toronto is in the Anglaise, and Quebec is Quebec. You'd be like Montreal, Quebec City, Montreal. Those are the French-speaking parts. Also, parts of New Brunswick. And there's population scattered throughout. There actually is a large, not large. There's a not insignificant French-speaking population in Georgetown, the city near where we are. City, I say, largish town. And anyway, so we went back on Thursday. They weren't open Thursday either. Great. So I looked around to see if there's any place closer to home, because that was like over an hour from our house when we came to that place. I looked around to see if there's any meaderies closer by, and there was. There's one just about half an hour away. And I went there today and bought a bottle. So, okay. Boink. Easily defeated this particular skeleton. He's not very strong. I'm going to close that up while I look at this spear. Yes, I got a bottle. But I'm not drinking that tonight. Tonight I'm having black fly. I'm going to catch up on comments for a second here. I'll get you back up to my ugly face. Ugh. Sorry about that. It's the one I was born with. Let's see. Good idea on the baking soda, indeed. Lord Corian says it's a good idea, but now I got to find out what that good idea was. Craft wire and say they are chains. Yeah. Bartle will finally get what's coming to him. I predict Touchberry will set him on fire. Ooh, that would be fun. A hard textured surface. I should, you know what? I should have had some Torchberry, Toucheberry. Confusion of battle. Are some doppelgangers going to sneak in and replace some villagers? Been a while since they've been heard from. What goes woof? Touchberry setting a Bargle on fire. Hard liquor sounds like they need a prohibition. We've got trouble right here in River City. There I go, getting demonetized again. Let the meadery sponsor a tasting event and see if the mead sells. You know what? That is a good idea right there. Well, then I have to license the event. $75. I can, wide spot in the road. It was wide enough to. We only have a Kia Forte. It wasn't hard. I could turn around in this kitchen in a Kia Forte. I had a beard at birth. Did the kids like the idea of having their own banner and a banner bearer to follow them about with? I haven't broached it yet because I have the feeling that's just the kind of thing that Touchberry would love and go with, and he would want a banner with a berry with a flame around it. So Claricon, when is it again? It is. I'll do it more properly where I'm not also trying to glue something. November of 2023, November 3rd, 4th, and 5th. In Glen Williams, Ontario. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead here, bring my pause in the in the crafting, and we'll shameless plugging. First of all, what I'll do is I'm going to put in the where is everything? I'm going to put down in the here we are. Actually, I'm going to put the exact address. So it's being held at the parish, in the parish hall, because that is a large enough space that I have access to easily. I'm going to put this in the chat. Basic, you can have hirelings and followers. You absolutely can. In fact, in Basic, once you get to name level, you can have a fortress. Why is this not? Doesn't want to. Oh, it's too many letters. I have a letter restriction in my own comment section. Good heavens! How do I get that smaller? Yes, you can have name level. You start to acquire followers. If you build a stronghold, you start to acquire followers. Which where's the share button? Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Where is the share button? I don't know how to share this. Why can't I not share? Not that. There's no share button. You know what? I will post it. Copy it. Well, I'll do this then. Fine. Oh, again, watching an elderly man try to figure out technology. Fun. There's the address that it's going to be held at. Question: do you count Honeywood as a stronghold for your players? It is a stronghold, but it is not their stronghold. It's not a stronghold that they would have in terms of status in the world. For combat purposes, it is a stronghold. The walls it may just be a wood palisade, but it is a defensible position with towers, with a walkway behind the palisade wall. So it's a force multiplier in terms of that, which is why they've managed to hold out. There's another secret to why they managed to hold out against the werewolf army so well. Canada in November, Mark, early November is not a problem. We've occasionally gotten snow on All Saints Day, which is November 1st, but it's like, no. It's the kind of snow that would bother someone, wouldn't even bother someone from Alabama. Okay. It would bother maybe someone from BC, but not from Ontario. Has anyone brought up ideas about taking control of the stronghold in the north on the map? The one on the Great Northern Sea. Interesting. No, they haven't, and you'd think they would. You'd think that would be a natural, hey, there's a stronghold there, we could take it over. But do remember, it does technically still belong to Sir Trevor. And any proper care of the place, but it is his stronghold. Now, he's not doing anything with it. So, yeah, they probably could. Yeah, really. Ask a 10-year-old. Oofta locked out his parents. That's not good. His own tabard, the berry and a wreath of flames. I like it. Coconut halves to follow. So, yeah, I'm all over the place. November 3rd, 4th, 5th. There is going to be a badge fee or entrance fee or registration fee, simply because even though I'm the priest and it's the parish hall, I still have to pay to use it. Not a lot. I get a much better rate, but I still have to pay something to use it. There's still going to be a number of costs associated with it. And, again, priests don't make tons of money. So it's not something I'm going to be footing the bill for on my own. I'm going to need to get some help. So there will be an entrance fee. I don't know exactly how much it will be. I will say that patrons who patrons who are signed up beforehand will get whatever level they're signed up at. They will get that much taken off of their registration. So the Clerics of St. Beckme, they're getting in for free. I think we're going at $20. The Clerics of St. Beckme will get in for free. Gary's Gargoyles will get in half price, and the Kobold Corps will at least get $3 off. So maybe something. So these are Canadian dollars. If you're in the U.S., do remember these are Canadian dollars, which is like Monopoly money, really. Oh. Anyway, I just need somebody to help defray the cost of renting the hall, primarily. But we're going to have all sorts of stuff. I haven't been able to. I didn't have time today going and buying mead and playing at the friendly local game shop. I didn't have time today to square this with them to make sure I have a firm commitment. But there are some other names in the the YouTube D&D OSR sort of world who are likely going to be showing up. People who are local to me. And if any of you are out there watching and you want to out yourself and make a firm commitment, go right ahead. But I don't want to make a firm commitment on anyone else's behalf until I have had a chance to swear. But I've got 3 people, pretty cool people, I think very cool people, who have said they plan on coming and running games too. Late night crafting indeed. Hey, Lightmane. The milk and bread vanish from the grocery store. Here we call it storm chips. When there's going to be a big storm, and I mean a big storm for Ontario, people go out and buy storm chips. I think that actually comes from the Maritimes, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. You go to the store and you buy chips so that, I don't know, like you're going to snack during the storm, I guess, Will I be accepting non-attending ticket sponsorships? James, are you meaning people simply making a donation to help the con, even if they're not coming? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Have the boys played any other versions of Dungeons & Dragons? And if so, which ones do they like the most? They do play 5e because that's the one played by, well, not my group at the friendly local game shop, but the other group that my eldest belongs to. They play 5e. So he got into 5e that way. And he and his brothers will play that with each other, and they'll DM for each other. My youngest DMs for me a sort of 5e Beckme mashup. Where, well, essentially what it is, because I don't want him to see the Dungeon Master's book. Right? I don't want them to know how powerful the monsters are. I don't want them to have all the inside baseball. But he's got the 5e versions of those books. So I have a Beckme character, and I'm fighting 5e monsters, which is really hard. But he gave me all sorts of friends. I have 2 kobolds who accompany me, and an elf, and I regularly get, ad hoc help from other NPCs. Because otherwise my character would be dead several times over. Character Balin from the Viva La Dirt League, Honeywood, incidentally. Nice day for fishing, ain't it? So they play that. They play eldest Dungeon Masters for his brothers and I. His mama is only involved in the family game. He runs a game of Hollow World for his brothers and I, which is Beckme, but it's got its own sort of side set of rules. And he's really pushing me because it was DM James who sent me Conan, and Squirrel Hermit who sent me Adventure Conqueror King. Or those 2 are switched. They came around the same time, but I'm pretty sure it was Squirrel Hermit, it was ACK, and DM James sent me Conan. And eldest has read those and is very keen on both of them. So I suspect Conan is going to be cropping up at some point. Their favorite, I think, in terms of which one to play is probably less to do with the system and more to do with the campaign. And it's the home campaign because it's the whole group, right? It's all of us. What grape soda you sipping there? It is not Sacramento wine. It's called Black Fly. Let's see that. Yeah, it's is that backward for you? It's backward for me. Anyway, it's a vodka, vodka mixed berry drink. I have an actual cobalt core. I do. Balin has his own cobalt core. Does Tonka have any relation to the old Tonka vehicles? No, but he's just as durable. He's just as durable. God bless him. Sacrilegious wine. Let me tell you, you do not want to sit around sipping sacramental wine. It is rarely any good. Usually you say, you know what? I can believe this is the blood of Christ. What I can't believe is that it's wine. No. Matt asks, sorry, talking with my mouth full. Matt asks if we will be filming Claricon. Claricon is the operating name. I don't want to give it the impression that it's somehow a religious convention, but that name seems to have stuck. I'd also thought of your basic con, but then I thought maybe it would sound like I was tricking people. We'll probably I will probably do some brief reports from the floor kind of thing, and there will be at least one session, and I'm thinking there's going to be a panel discussion or a presentation of some kind. This relates to the three very cool people who've told me that they would like to participate, and that will be live streamed. We're going to live stream whatever that is. Yes, the experience table for 5e was a bit of a what? So was you get cantrips, you can cast as many times as you want, and some of them do damage. What? And barbarians can cast spells if they pick the right path. I don't know. All of that to me was just too much. I overload. I don't know how to deal with it. Not a vodka guy. This does not taste that much like vodka, I gotta tell you. And the W vodka is good for you. It to clean out your inside, to keep you healthy, kill the germs inside. Hollow World is wild, Patrick. It really is. Yeah, he looks. I have not too far into the booze because his arms and legs are on. He kind of looks like he's doing a little dance. Maybe I have had a little too much. Kobold. We are the Kobold Corps. Watsy came out with the experience table. Just close the book. Yeah. It is Dungeons and Superheroes. It is. And that is like Marvel movies. I have a sort of a pet theory that Marvel movies have become the new religious experience for a secular culture. When there's a great video on YouTube, someone snuck a camera in. I'm sure there's more than one, but someone snuck a camera in to Endgame. And there's that scene where, and I hope I'm not spoiling it for you, but if it's been out for years now, come on, where I've never actually seen the movie. I've only seen clips on YouTube. But there's this scene where it's Thanos and his whole army, and it looks like it's all over. And then you hear that, on your left, and in comes, what's his name? I don't know because I didn't see the movies. And a whole bunch of other heroes start appearing, right? And they kind of appear one at a time or a couple at a time. And they each get this swell of music and a hero shot with them landing in a pose, like that. And the audience goes nuts. They go nuts. It's this cathartic release of emotion. They've been following these stories from origin when, the heroes were testing their powers and it was all strange and new, and then growing confidence and becoming really important. And now this huge, huge showdown, and it looked desperate and it's hopeless. All hope is lost. And then here they come. That used to be the kind of emotion that people would experience in following the liturgical year, in going from the Advent, when the we looked both forward to the second coming and backward to the birth at Christmas, and then the birth at Christmas, and the coming into the world of this weak little baby who's going to take on the empire, and then the growing and the maturing and the miracles and the feedings and the healings and the teachings and all this stuff, and it built and built and built toward this showdown with Rome and with the religious authorities, and then the cross, and it looks hopeless, and then it all is turned around, and it used to be this catharsis for a whole culture, right? And the liturgies were really rich and evocative and lots of symbolism, and the Marvel movies have sort of moved into that place to give people the emotional anchor to something that means something, right? Now, in this case, it's cartoon characters, right? But it has the same sort of cathartic moment. There's all sorts of comments going by, and I'm not watching because I'm so into my own theory. I will read them. But that being the sort of cultural milieu, when they go to make a role-playing game, you expect your character to be the boss, right? To be Iron Man, to be Captain America, to be Black Widow, increasingly to be Captain Marvel, right? Where it's like, was my character ever in any real danger? I don't think so. So that's why. All right. Let's see. Just turned 4 a.m. where you are, Matt? Oh, good heavens. I have wrapped my head around the War Machine, although tenuously, and I'm very glad that I was sent that spreadsheet that does all the work for me, because boy, I don't know if I could handle that. Moonshine will clean you out too. It certainly will. Marvel movies and Harry Potter, yep, shaped the game today. Like Conan and Pulp Fiction shaped the hobby for us. Well, Pulp Fiction was, by that time, I'd stopped playing. That was long after I was done. But I imagine that there are people who were still in the world for that. So don't get excited when people return from the dead. Well, that's it, right? That is precisely what's happening in that scene, right? Because these are people who died in the whole snap thing. Secret, yeah. Dolph Lundgren as Punisher. Well, it is. You know what? Like I have not seen the movies. I saw the first Avengers, and I saw the Iron Man 1 and I think 2, but I saw that on video. I not on the movie theater. I've never seen the Captain America movies, any of them. I've never seen Hulk. I saw the original Thor. That's about it. But even still, I mean, they're very good. Movie makers are very good at pulling the strings, right? And the music and the visuals, it's awesome. It's awesome. So, yeah, no wonder people get cheered up. You expect to start out as a rube. That's it. There you go. Oh, the Fantastic Tales. Okay, yeah. Not the movie Pulp Fiction. No, not that one. That would be... You know what they call a cheeseburger in water deep? Yeah. They're excellent telling those stories. I mean, like that's bread and butter for them, right? So, yeah, they're gonna be really cool. They're gonna be really cool. All right. So we can see if we can get this skeleton any better. His arm there is a little weak. Your arm's a little weak, buddy. See if I can get you a little help. Turn this back down so you can again not look at my ugliness. You can look at the ugliness of the skeleton and my... Oh, dear. Ow, I pinched my... Oh, no, I didn't pinch it. I stuck to it. I must have touched some glue because my finger stuck to the... my finger stuck to the camera for a moment there. Sorry for the shaking you got. A little glue in there. Try to hold that out a little bit. I'm one of those people who crushes the toothpaste tube to nothing before I admit that it's empty. So I will be using this super glue for the rest of my life, provided I die this evening. Okay, now, Mr. Hand, you're going to need to open a bit. Fingers are going to need to curl a bit. What can I do with you? Hey, John, you have a good night. Give me the giant skeleton. So. Nope. Well, that didn't work. Help, help. Help, help. I'm being repressed. Violent inherent in the system. He's tearing my arms off. Okay, skeleton. This is what I meant about kind of messing things up and then try it again, and that's me all over. Okay. Joy of watching glue dry. So yeah, Claricon, we are going to have a number of fun things. There's going to be a Bob Johnny onion eating contest. See who can down onions best. And hey, Jorge, how you doing? I'm gonna have a Bob Johnny onion eating contest. We're gonna have draws, regular sort of draws for prizes, kind of stuff. I'm gonna have gonna auction off for super duper cheap tickets some terrain that's been featured on the videos and in the game. Got a couple of YouTube level celebrities who are gonna run in the OSR world. We'll run some games and maybe do a little talk kind of thing. No, I don't have any of those, that green stuff and whatnot. I don't. I thought about getting some. Ha, ha, ha. But again, fools rush in, and I am a fool. I really am. This is like, I'm such a goober when it comes to doing crafts. So I think we're going to have we'll probably start out, or at least one of the days, we'll have a tour of Honeywood, and I can show you the spots, the real world spots that are places in the game where things happen. Where Sulix's tower is, where the mayor's house, well, the mayor's house is a total invention, but where Sir Trevor's house is, certainly. Ooh, Panther G, cool. What am I making the skeleton for? I'm making the skeleton for the game. It is a giant. It's a skeletal giant, and I have an adventure in mind which is going to involve a skeletal giant. So I thought I'd make one. They have like there's a frost giant skeleton that's pretty cool looking. But I thought, you know what, I bought this at the dollar store. I bought it for a different project, which didn't end up really working very well. But I thought, hey, I'll try it for this. Green stuff with epoxy sculpt. Would you allow a game to run remotely, like over the interwebs for the con? Yeah, you know what? We could have a game. We could even have a game on the table that has a virtual, a person joining via interwebs to play, be present on a little computer monitor, like the Calypso organization. I suppose you're wondering why I called you all here today. Yeah, there could be an online component to it. I'm in blue sky territory right now. Blue sky territory. I do know there's going to be snacks available at the Touchberry Shop. Touchberry may actually work the Tuck Shop to make a little money to buy miniatures. I want to see if I can get some game makers and developers and people who are, doing new stuff and cool stuff to come and present, or at least have a table with stuff for sale, that kind of thing. I don't know. I mean, it's not going to be a big convention. Let's face it. It's going to be pretty small. So I don't know what kind of a draw it will be for vendors, but oh well. Yeah, this call's a bit goofy. Oh, Uncle Brat. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Uncle Brat. That is going straight into the Claricon funding pot. I've had too much vodka. Yeah, it's going to go straight into Claricon, though. Thank you so much. That is extremely generous of you. Thank you. Claricon just got $100 closer. Actually, 120 with the earlier super chats. Thank you. A Touchberry bonfire. Thank you for that idea. Absolutely. Who was that? Nordic Maelstrom. Great idea. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, part of the drawback of having an online, an online community is that so much of the community is so far away. I mean, that's one of the great things about it. It's one of the nice things. But then if you actually want to get together in person, it's a little harder. Oh, Loosely, I bet we would let you in. The chips go straight to the cleric. Well, you know what, maybe Eric, it might be. Right now I'm waiting on this shoulder. I want to make sure that really dries because I've been burned once. It probably would. And that is the next step. I was thinking I could get the thing in his hand and then attach it, but you're probably right that is, yeah, that gluing him on will probably help. Although I'm telling you right now, I will find a way to mess that up. I have glued the hot glue gun back in. Let's give her a shot, shall we? See how suggestible I am? Shouldn't you do this? Okay. Ooh, that's more than I wanted and hotter than I wanted. Good thing it won't dry for a bit. I got some time. That is hot. So today I also went to, I actually wrestled with which craft I would do tonight. I had planned this, but then I got something today that I thought, ooh, maybe, but nah. I got a section of rubber mat, like what Black Magic Craft used to make a battle mat, a whole, unrollable thing for your table, a 2x3 kind of thing. Talking about far away, I could see Tierra del Fuego from the corner. Witchcraft. Yes, I didn't wrestle with witchcraft. I wrestled with witchcraft. It's all about the emphasis and which syllable you put it on. I wrestled with what to do, but I decided on this. But yeah, I got the it's a big roll of rubber mat, and he had this great technique for making it into he stands for making it into a battle mat using silicone as the it's a spear. That's gonna be about using silicone as the material, and it really looked cool. Now he has a pointy point on him. I think I'm going to use the pointy point because that will go into whatever I use to make the head of the spear. Nice long spear. Nice long spear. Well, Lightman, if you're talking about like the witch in Conan, right? There, then we're talking. Then you're talking. Yeah, loosely, it's I found it at Home Depot, and it's dirt cheap, and it's exactly as he describes it. It's fabulous stuff. So, looking forward to using it. Okay, you get in there. Now he just looks like an old man. Looks like an old man. Oh, maybe if I... That help? I mean, once I put a spear tip on it, it'll look less like he's out for a walk in the woods, right? That kind of works. What happened to the back of my head? I have no brains. I have no brains. Coffee stir sticks. You can make a shield pretty easy out of that. That'd be a neat idea to make it out of. I do have. Oh gosh, I have coffee stir sticks. No craft box is complete without them. Whole bag of coffee stir sticks. Is that stick pointy and sharp enough? That's exactly what I'm doing, making a hooded cloak to cover the back of his missing head. Well, actually, good evening, show enough. Gee, I'm actually making a metal chainmail coif, it's called, to cover that, plus the hole in the top of his head. That's going to go over, and that will go on top, and then there'll be a cloak to cover behind. And what I'm thinking actually is that I may do a little like a almost not quite stiff, but stiffish collar up here that the cloak comes out of underneath. Like a bishop's mantle. Yeah, a cope. That's kind of what I'm looking at, a kind of a cope. I'm glad it reminds you of Jason and the Argonauts because, that would be awesome. Right. Clip the shield out of the stick. Just on the giant skeleton going out for a stroll. I'm going to make the cloak out of, I have some really thin fabric. I've got a little scrap here. I have to cut it still. But actually I can do some of that right now. Oh no, I don't have the scissors in my kit. Another thing I have to get up for. I'll be right back. Didn't have to go far. If I do it about... These aren't fabric scissors, so this is going to be an awful cut. But that's okay, because he's an awful creature. I don't know. I've got a couple pieces of this, so I'm not too worried if I mess this up. Like I said, I don't really plan very well for these things. I just sort of do it. And then... Come what may. Come what may. So, okay, Touchberry Bonfire, the Bob Johnny Onion Eating Contest. There's going to be a Fleetwood. Let's see. Fleetwood's kind of cabinet of curios. Now I'm going to soak this down with glue so it doesn't stick out like a stiff piece of ridiculousness. Fleetwood. I don't know how much this makes it into the show. Actually, that Fleetwood, he picks up everything. If they defeat a monster, he's cutting off its toes to keep. If they have, just anything, he's always cutting bits and pieces off of monsters to save. So I'm thinking of doing a sort of sell and swap kind of table where people can, bring their stuff to sell. The house gets a wee percentage, but mostly the seller keeps the stuff. So if you've got like doubles of something that you'd be happy to get rid of, or if you've just got a game that you no longer play, you'd be able to bring it and sort of have it on rummage of a sort. So Fleetwood's cabinet of curios, because he's such a collector. when the Home Depot 12-foot skeleton goes on the attack. Let's see. And I am nothing if not utterly random in my. See, there we go. That's maybe not as long. I really want it to be more narrow. I don't really want it wrapping around the front very much, so I would take some of that off. I don't know. Experiment with different fashions for this guy. Let's see. This stuff's really light. Like that. I have in mind what it should look like in the end, but I'm not a natural-born tailor, so I can't quite envision how to get there. I'm monkeying around tonight, whether any of this works or not. Who knows? Who knows? But it's this is what I like about crafting. It's a sort of try it and see, I'll poke this in there. Does that work? No. Okay, try something else. I've always enjoyed that about any sort of creative endeavor. So wrap the extra around the arms and make sleeves. That could look kind of neat. The monster manual. Monster manual. Har har. That's funny. Actually, it's pretty funny. Yeah, I would think it'd be more ragged at the bottom too, though. It's got to be more ragged at the bottom, right? Right. Of course it does. I mean, the whole thing, whatever I do, it's got to kind of be in tatters because he's an old, grotty. So if you're sticking with me here, you'll get a bonus. What this is for? So when we were camping, we went to a place called Awenda. It's a thank you, Shonuff. It's a Shonuff just sent me a PDF of the Monster Manual. It's a campground up Awenda. It's a campground up in not northern Ontario. It's not that far north, but north for us. And out from Awenda's on Georgian Bay, and just out from Awenda is an island called Giant's Tomb Island. Well, didn't that just get me thinking? So, there is an island in the Great Northern Sea, which is the tomb of an ancient evil giant. Don't tell my players. You got to have a ragged end to it. Let's see, there's absolutely no way I could even begin to craft something as cool as you make. Well, that's very kind of you. That's very kind of you, but I think that Nordic Maelstrom is right. It takes actually, it actually takes just takes doing it. That's because I'm pretty hopeless of this kind of stuff myself, but you know, you get into it and you try it and you, okay, yeah, I could try that and I could try that and okay, that might work. I sort of want it to go around his shoulders, but I sort of also don't. I don't know. I don't know, people. Maybe ruining it here, but I've got enough of this fabric. I could make like 5,000 of these. I could make one for everyone who subscribes and everyone who has unsubscribed and all the people who've never thought about subscribing. I've got so much of it. I can flip that back. That might be it. That might be it right there. I don't want it sticking up though, like he's popping his collar. What do my boys think of the channel? They think it's pretty cool. They think it's pretty cool, James. They are cognizant of the fact that what they do now in the game is going to end up on the channel, but I work pretty hard to keep them from trying to perform in the game. You know, I try to take that aspect of it off the table, like that they're not thinking, oh, what I do here is going to end up, you know, being broadcast, so that they're just playing the game and not trying to just set something up, right? I think it has to be kind of forward, or it looks, I don't know, does forward look more like a walking stick, or does back look more like a walking stick? I don't know. Tomb of Thraxidar, the ancient scourge of the north, once ruled all the north until the early settlers arrived and broke the giant's power and ultimately slew him on the island that is now Giant's Tomb Island. Thraxidar. Good heavens, that's a good name. Back. Shonoff says back. Looks better. I'm inclined to think you're right. That isn't touching the ground yet, though. I need to get it touching the ground. There. If that is not long enough, and I don't think it, maybe it isn't. Is that too short now? I have more of these skewers, so it's not like I've got about 1.5 million. This one doesn't have a pointy end, though. But I have a bunch of skewers somewhere. I could give him a beard. No. I'm sure I have more. If not, it's not like they're expensive. But is that too short now? Back looks more dynamic. Yeah, I think you're right. His right leg is forward, but it's supposed to be a spear, not really a walking stick. I'm trying to avoid it looking too much like a walking stick. Here's another skewer with a pointy end. Oh, that's a thicker one, though. I like the thickness of that. Is that too short? If that's too short, I have another section, and it doesn't need to be pointy because, like, I'm gonna stick a little spearhead on it. Let's see. Is that ridiculously tall? It's like the mace in Lord of the Rings in the Return of the King. You know, it's like, at what point is this just comic? Is that too tall? Back more. There. Using a human spear sword for a spear tip. Cool. Longer spear option. Yeah, a Spartan dory was a long, long thing. Sooner or later, you use your spear as a walking stick. That's probably true. That's probably true. Okay. And here's my spear. And I don't need... Well, yeah, you know what? I don't want to have a blob of glue. Let's see if I've got anything left in this thing. It has proven to be more of a bottomless source than I ever thought it could be. You sit there. I'll let you. Ah! Wish I had a predictable flow of glue. That certainly would help if I had a predictable flow of glue. Then I could better plan my gluing. I would know as I squeezed that something was going out the other end. That's getting a little warped here. Are you telling me that the mat I bought at Dollar Tree for $1.50 is not holding up to professional standards? An outrage, I say, an outrage. Stone spear tip. You left a gluing suggestion on my Discord. Thank you. Thank you. A little late for this guy, but handy for future use, I am sure. Unending tube of crafting glue. Give thanks. Okay. No more chips. All stores around here are closed right now. I don't think I could find something that had super glue this time of night, and if I did, it would be super glue left over from the mid-90s, and it would cost me $12. The gas station super glue, if such a thing exists. All right. Pretty cool. It is fantasy. You are quite right. And for size comparison, there's roughly a mini. That's not one of the... Here's a Honeywood. My gaming bag is up at the front of the house. But that's a little shorter. This is an old Ralpartha, I want to say. No, Grenadier from 1991, I think. So he's a little shorter than the typical new guys. Hobby Lobby and Chick-fil-A both visited by me today. Neither are open tomorrow. No, they wouldn't be. No, those two would be closed on Sunday. The Giants would be way bigger in comparison to the Giant because of his strength. It might be twice his height. It's fantasy. True that. Not sure anyone suggested this as an option, but if you look up Victrix miniatures, Perry miniatures, and Cripping Beast miniatures, you get boxes of a lot of miniatures for decent prices. Cool. Grocery store super glue. Yes, unfortunately, none of the grocery stores in our town or anywhere that's like within 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes are open this late. We are closed. There's no all-night grocery store here. Decent people go to bed at this hour. What you doing buying your groceries now for? You lunatics? You whippersnappers? Eat your groceries at a reasonable hour, you whippersnappers. Wonder if I got a hole in this. Once I narrowed it so it didn't look so ridiculous around his shoulders. I mean, I wonder how flimsy this thing could get and still look decent. What do you think? Somewhere some hero has a giant skull fire pit. If I put a hole about yay there and cut this thing a lot narrower so it wouldn't flare out past his shoulders all the way down. You know what? It's just crazy enough. I'm doing it. I am just crazy enough to do it. Leave a couple tatters here. But not so many tatters that it looks like a feather cape. He's not an enormous swan may. Eleonora, what happened to you? What prominent cheekbones you have. Perry miniatures, 100 years war minis. Cool. I think historic minis are great for like the soldiers in your world's armies because they're historic, they're grounded in reality. So they wouldn't have the big ridiculous swords or whatever. And those should be the magic swords, the swords that are reserved for the people who are not reserved for non-adventurers are not allowed, but just non-adventurers just wouldn't have access to this sort of thing. Again, you look more cape-like than cloak. I understand, but I'm just trying something. Again, I've got like 5 gajillion yards of this, so it's not like I'm hurting for material. If this doesn't work, I'm not out of luck. I do understand that I'm getting dangerously close to making doll clothes. So just somebody turn on a football game or something. Oh, what do we think? The Shark Fest? Sure. Springs catching in your pants. Ouch. Undead giant with a mullet. That works then? If that works, then I think I'm going to tear up the sides a little bit more. Just get them a little more jagged looking. Not too much, but a little bit. And of course, I'm going to wet the whole thing down with glue so it'll stick to his bony frame. Okay. Yeah, the shield, so not a helmet, but a coif, a chainmail coif made out of paper towel, because that That paper towel really does look like chainmail once you've got it painted up right. The shield, though, is definitely a good idea. Okay, I got to take it off. Don't lose your head here, sir. I'm just taking your cloak. Give it back! Give it back! It is my favorite garment. I love it. Just a little more rippy, a little less snippy. Pull some threads out so it looks a little. Pull through threads out so we get that kind of, well, that look. Cool. This is very, very close detail stuff. I don't think it really can make that big of a difference, but let's clean that off. I should have gotten. I'm going to grab the kitchen shears. I'll be right back. Oh, ow, 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 ow. Oh. All right, the hot. They were in the dryer, in the dishwasher, and it was on dry cycle. Ouch, they're hot. Hot. Yeah, we are in doll clothes territory. Okay. Let's see. Hot. Man, that was a bad idea. Let's get some of these schnitzels off of here. We are in doll clothes territory. But he's a scary doll. Does that help? He's a spooky doll. So what I'm doing is just plucking away at the sides to make it look, and pulling threads out. Trying to make it look a little less cleanly cut. So if it doesn't look too, yeah, okay. So my wife's just heading up to bed. She was holding her phone. I don't know if she's watching this. Hi, honey. I'm making dolly clothes. It's like that scene in Iron Man. It's not the worst thing you found me doing. There it is. Yes, fraying the edges. I'm afraid so. There we go. So we have this basic layout going. Shield. Tell me I don't have any wax paper stuffed in here. I normally have gobs of wax paper around. There's some. Is it wax? No, that's not wax paper. That's something else. What is that? Oh yeah. Okay. Come on, people. Where is my wax paper? No. Oh. Okay. Now, no one accuses me of being cheap, but I'm using this paper, which has obviously been used as a painting surface. Because this side's still perfectly good. Is the chip tube waxed? It is. Thank you, Nordic. It is curved already. You're right. And I'm not done with the chips yet. Well, I can just use a chip. Is there? There we go. Perfect. The defense of the realm is secure. Milady, I will guard you. It is the right size, isn't it? Keep it for. You know what I could do? I got an idea. Y'all are getting me thinking. We know that's dangerous. What if I eat another chip? Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh. There we go. And I'll get some tapey tape. And now I have to finish these chips so that someone doesn't find them tomorrow and say, why do they have wax paper taped on them? Bits of glue stuck to the paper. Weirdo, what are you doing at night? Oh, of course, the tape doesn't stick to the wax paper. Nothing sticks to wax paper. Okay, that's okay. Shield +1 of taste. Potato, blessed shield of potato. The Idaho Giant. Well, I'll tell you, here in Canada, it would be PEI, Prince Edward Island Giant. Keep a chip here, handy for reference. Now, I know I don't need them. This also helps, I don't need them, huge. I'm going to cut it out. Could almost. No. Oh. I'm thinking. First of all, you don't want rounded kind of safety corners on your shield, so that goes. Make it a bit bigger, and I can cut it down to size later. But I know I don't need them to be any longer than that because that's as long as a chip. So. You are all weirdos. Hey. Where did it go? Great, I can cut them, but I can't find them afterward. And that one's a little bit of a ski slope. Can't use that so well. Only the finest. We select only the finest coffee stirs to use in our giant shields. We guarantee your shield will protect you from all attacks of vicious halflings. Vicious, Dad. Don't call me that. So, okay. Onion eating contest. Cabinet of Curios. Touchberry bonfire. What else can we have at this con? Games, obviously. We're going to be running games. We're going to be running a lot of games. Hello, Evolution of Gaming. PEI. It would not be pronounced. It's PEI, Prince Edward Island. It's an acronym. It's like USA. You don't say USA. Let's see. All right. Now, did I get a little bit of pencil lead on the chip? Yes. Am I still going to eat the chip? Of course. But not too much. Maybe I should have used PVA instead. Yeah, you know what? PVA instead. Yeah, that tape just does not stick. Because nothing sticks. Nothing sticks to parchment paper. I use PVA instead. Are the honeywood flowers the only overly large local vegetation? They were. USA. They were. Whoa, we're having a con? Where? Sure enough, we are having a con in Glen Williams, Ontario, which is the real life village on which Honeywood, the game setting is based. In November 3rd, 4th, and 5th, first weekend in November. Yeah. I do PVA. Think you want to change the paper? We are made of carbon. Jorge, you're right. I'm made of carbon and wishes. What's that? Glob. Yeah, I'm going to have to finish these chips because this can is done for. All right. Well, normally you don't want things to stick to your parchment paper because that's why you use parchment paper, right? That's the whole point of it. But in this case, I kind of do want it to. So I want the tape to stick. I don't want the glue to stick, and it won't because I'll be able to peel that off. But the tape, I kind of do want that sticking for now. Now I'm wondering. See, now I'm double. And now I'm double second guessing myself. Luminous beings, are we? Not this crude matter. True. Absolutely true. But the crude matter is part of it. It really is. For the word became flesh and dwelt among us. Thereby our humanity was blessed. Okay. Need a couple smaller pieces for the edge. Northern maelstrom hanging out in the cold waters. Oh, here's a question. Where my favorite crude matter is donuts. I do enjoy it. Yeah. I don't want it to. I don't want the glue to stick to the paper. It's the tape, though. That's the tape that was holding the that's holding the paper onto the can. The tape keeps coming loose. In general terms, I know not everyone's comfortable sharing cities and that kind of stuff, but in general terms, whereabout is everyone? I'm in Canada, in Ontario, and as I said, we the parish, at least, is in Glen Williams. I live nearby. The rector of Glen Williams cannot afford to live in Glen Williams. It's a rather nice little village. Pennsylvania for Nordic Maelstrom. Carlisle, Pennsylvania for showing off. Hey, your neighbors. Jonesboro, Illinois. Newfoundland. Evolution of Gaming's way out in Newfoundland. Washington, USA. South Florida for Mighty Eric. James Seymour is in Kansas. Portugal. Hello. Joel, now, Mr. Silva, I would need help pronouncing that. I'm going to admit my North American ignorance on the pronunciation of that. My Portuguese is not strong. Northeast Alabama. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now, Uncle Brad, are you near, do you know the Shakopee Renaissance Festival at all? I worked that when I was a teenager. I had a job at the Bristol Renaissance Festival in Wisconsin. A part of my job, though, was to bring at the end of the Bristol Fair, the Shakopee Fair was still going on, and my job was to close down the Bristol shop and bring the remaining stock up to Shakopee. Which is not, I mean, it's not Minneapolis, but it's in that area, I know, because you don't go putting a Renaissance Festival out in the middle of total nowhere. You do. Okay, so we also have Punta Arenas, Chile, and Eastern Iowa. Chile and Iowa brought together by gaming. That is cool. We have people from all over. Mostly, we're looking at Western Hemisphere here because it'd be tough to be awake this early. Portugal you have got to be very early out there, Portugal. Puke and Snot. That wasn't the Mudbeggars show, was it? I didn't spend a lot of time at Shakopee. I have to say, I would spend like 2 weekends because by the time chili flavored Iowa, by the time I finished, by the time Bristol finished, Shakopee was getting ready to wind up. It had a little bit longer. Comedy act, the Bawdy Singing Pirates. I remember most as the Mudbeggars, and they did some very, very lewd jokes. I mean, I was surprised what they got away with. They were hilarious, but from the Azores, it's 4 a.m. Oi! That is very early to be up. Do you work a night shift? Do you work a night shift or just wrestling with some insomnia? It's 4 a.m. Yeah, Matt, you're in England, Matt? You in the UK? Up all night. I hear you. I didn't see Matt if you weighed in when we were talking where we're at. It's about 11 for loosely collected. Yeah, you're one time zone over. So it's about midnight here. Yeah, it's midnight where I'm at. Where a number of people are. Now that's going to have to dry there. And now I'm wondering if it actually wasn't better to be... You know what I'm going to do? Because I have stir sticks coming out of my ears, I'm just going to do 2. One hot glue, one PVA, and whichever one turns out. I mean, the hot glue one is going to be easier because it's going to peel off better. But it's going to have this lumpy background. Oh, well. Probably not the end of the world. I can live with that if it peels off nice and easy. And it will, I think. peel off nice and easy. That's my style. But I'll have the PVA one if that works. If that works. Midnight in Georgia. Yeah, your Eastern time as well. I don't know PCS. I know PVA. That is a good idea, though. It's a very good idea. I don't know how shimmery that'll, how slick that'll make it, though. See if I on the. This is the problem. I'm remelting so that I don't get a lump there. If you've left your hot glue gun on for a while, really get some soupy glue. And it's a lot more forgiving in terms of cooling time. I won't say drying time because it's not really a drying process. It's a cooling process. It's a lot more forgiving in terms of cooling time. If you, turn this to you can see how many chips I have left. Not many. It wasn't full when the evening began, folks. Don't worry. I'm not that out of control. Even in the episode where I eat the chips, I didn't actually eat them all. I hate to spoil that, but I just really put most of them in a bowl and ate them throughout the rest of the day. I did eat them all that day, though. I'll say that much. I'm that much of a pig. This is going to be a little... I don't know. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. What about it? There it is. Getting her covered. Get her done. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Spell correct is AI taking over. So, Windows Surface Go with PCS, PVA. Okay. You guys hot glue another section of 6 onto the back, and that is to act as a rim on the shield. Hang on, Soupy. Soupy, hang on. You want some chips? Here, Nordic. Here you go. Yeah. Have a few. They got strings on them now. Sorry, my chips have strings attached. Eat them myself. There's no strings on me. Yes, there are. People say I'm really attached to my projects. I am. Literally. Okay. Cut the shield out of the can. I thought about that. I don't know how this surface will work, though. If I can get the wood to work, I want to get the wood to work. Because I like, I really like using wood to make something that's supposed to be wood and then painting it to look like wood. One of the ridiculous things about this hobby, isn't it? Like, yeah, it's wood, but it's the wrong kind of wood. No, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not too worried. Like, I'm not going to glue it into his hands till I'm happy with the shield. Sandpaper. Oh, covered in the hot glue chips. I ate them anyway. Stick to your ribs. I get what you're saying. Yeah, cut a disc of the shield out and then glue the sticks to the disc. That would have been easier. This is what I mean. I don't think ahead. I just do it. Oh, well. Again, if this doesn't work out, I can redo it in another way. Oh, without any chips to ballast it, it wants to roll over onto the shield. Huh. All right. We're waiting for the earth-shattering kaboom. Well, as far as earth-shattering kaboom's evolution, I don't know if you were here. The closest thing I have to it tonight is the announcement of the convention happening November 3rd, 4th, and 5th in Glen Williams, Ontario, which I know for most of you, and I really know now because I saw where y'all are at, for most of you is an unimaginably long way to travel for a very small convention. But for those who are spray garnished a chip, poly dipped one, for those who are within a drive, yeah, a little small convention just to get together and have fun. I'm going to turn it back on my ugly face for a little while. Spray varnish a chip. That would be funny. It would work, I think. It would probably work. The can is a little gentler curve than the chip, which is probably would be good. It's probably good that it's not quite as extreme. I think the extreme curve might be a bit much. Well, anyway, there's a couple shields drying. When the PVA one is dry, I'll unpeel it. What's my favorite monster from Back Me? Nordic asks. Yes, I did get a haircut. I was getting kind of shaggy. A wood tower out of the Pringles can. Well, I'm about an eighth of the way there. Favorite monster in Back Me. Oh man. You know, when I played it back as a teen, I really liked living statues. And I think part of the reason, and I didn't give it much thought as to why I liked them back then, but I think part of the reason is that you could place them and forget them. You don't have to think, well, how does it get its food? Where does it poop? Where does it sleep? Now, you don't have to think that anyway, but I do. That's just where my brain goes. Is like, well, these goblins don't make any sense. They're in an interior room with no access to the outside. Where do they get food? What do they do? You know, they just hang around in this room waiting for adventurers all day. So, well, living statue though, and the undead. Who cares? Golems as well. Golems would just sit there waiting. They don't care. So I liked those kinds of creatures because you didn't have to wait. Why did I have children? And think about that. I liked D&D monsters that I could just stick in a room and not worry about. Really not great material as a father, I think. Maybe parenting isn't for me. But anyway, I liked that. Let's see. Yeah, I shaved my head. Ah, the Tarantella spider. Yes, that's a cool one. That's a very cool one. And I think the player's whole reaction to that episode, they've written off those caves. They're not going back to try to drive the spiders out. They don't care. They're done. Those caves do not exist to them anymore. I thought that was funny. Okay. I'm going to keep it on me so that you don't see the horror show that's going on down here. No. I have a little jar of PVA and water. It's glued shut. Naturally. Oh, man. That's quite a testimonial of the power of the glue. Oh, good heavens. It would have been really embarrassing if I couldn't get it open. What did you roll for strength there, Father? I don't know which one of you sounds like that, but in my head. There is a Tarantella spider. I know, it's like the name of a Yeah. A Tarantino spider? Twitchy little thing, isn't it? Oh, this is probably going to give me all sorts of wrinkles, which is probably good. It'll go neat. All right. Okay, Dolly, time for your cloak. I really want that to settle in. Yeah, and it's big enough. The hole for the head is big enough that it really shows off the rib cage there, which is good. You don't want to lose the rib cage in such a cool, feature of the skeleton. It's what really sells. This thing is desiccated and dead. All right, a little cling to the leg down here, just a bit. Straighten that. That's not folded up there. Oh, there it is. I gotta get it. No! I never think ahead. I have nothing to wipe my hands with. The Tarantino spider. Use Vaseline on the jar threads. This also would imply thinking ahead, but thank you, Uncle Brad. Yeah, forethought and me. You'd think I would not bother being a DM since I can't really think ahead very well. Oh, there we are. The whenever I paint, choppy video. Whenever I paint, I use these. They're cloth diapers. We don't need them anymore, obviously, and it's not really the kind. We sold the plastic covers. We sold those to another couple of babies. Somehow that nobody wants to buy the. We washed them, but no one really wanted to buy the diapers. So this is my kid's diaper. What did you feed him? Anyway, they're obviously like way past using them. They're very old. So. All right. Oh, I just got PVA in my mouth. That's good. All right. Yeah, the shield kind of. Shield's not going to be. That one's the hot glue one. That one's if I take the hot glue one off, I'll ruin the PVA one. And I'm hoping the PVA one works because that's going to be a thinner layer. It's not going to be as. But I should paint over the PVA one, shouldn't I? The hot glue one is going to be fine. That I'm not worried about. That'll come off in a sheet. It may be a little flexible, but I can put something on the back because I have some of them that are really bent. That I can. And you can't find a bent one when you want it. When you're looking for straight, all you can find is hockey sticks. But when you bent, they're all a bunch of rulers. Anyway, I can take something like this and probably soak it. To go too far, and I'll break it. But soak it a bit and get it to bend. Should I go ahead with the coif? I don't know. It's getting late here. And tomorrow is church, although I'm still on vacation, so I don't have to do it. And what we do is we find all of the church services that start at 11. When I'm on vacation, we don't go anywhere before 11. Is Sherman ready for tomorrow? Sherman is ready, yes. Well, gee, Mr. Peabody, I'm ready. Hello, Shadow. How are you doing? How are things out in sunny California? We've got a little skeleton action happening here, made out of a Halloween decoration from the dollar store. I'm just deciding if I want to. I'm going to go ahead. I'll be right back. I just got to grab some paper towel. Now, what I find on this stuff is two textures. There's two textures involved. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this at all. But if I'm not here, maybe I can. There's a rough sort of woven texture. And it appears on both sides. That's what I'm getting the chainmail look from. There's also this sort of I don't know, paisley sort of you can see it probably more obviously, sort of leaf-shaped texture. That vanishes when you soak it in glue. It just goes away. Gone. So I'm not worried about that. I will use the kitchen shears. They are much sharper. Hello, Christopher. How are you doing? You see oak and ash and thorn? Yes, you do. They've become decorations on my on top of my computer. I have this extremely narrow little table. It's sort of like it's supposed to be for behind the sofa kind of thing. But this house is not big. It is not a big house. We don't have a lot of places for me to set up my computer. So it's set up here in the kitchen beside the table. And the only way to have any room is for this table to be tiny. And my wife bought it for me intending that I would keep the computer and monitor on that table and move them to the kitchen table when I used them. But so far, if I'm at the kitchen table and I turn one of the chairs around and I face that, I've repositioned the table for this, but for this video. But normally, if I'm at the kitchen table, I just turn around. I can access the computer and the monitor. I put the keyboard on my lap and the mouse over on a chair next to me, and it's fine. Bounty chainmail. That would be fun, Shadow. That would be fun. Yeah, you could use some clump foliage to cover the back of the head and some of the joints and make the base into a swamp base so it looks like the skeleton rose from the swamp. That would be cool. That would be cool. To cover his bald spot. Well, he's going to go hardcore and just have the chainmail on his head because I don't know that I can do two little things like that because I'm just not that clever. But what I'm going to do, try to be a little clever. Try to be a little clever. Let's see. Come here, time for your fitting. Yeah, okay. I don't know if this is going to work at all. I really don't. I don't know. Oh, that was stupid. Oh, sometimes I'm so dumb I amuse myself. Woo! I'm not even going to tell you what I did. It's not worth it. Oh, man. That was... I'm glad I did it in front of people because that makes it worse. Yeah, stupidity happened. No mohawk. Sleep-deprived cleric getting punchy. I'm telling you. Well, camping, like, wow. That was something. Okay, where do I have to make cuts? The thing is, I need to make it. It's got to cover. It's got to go there and over. So I'm trying to think how I'm making these cuts. I could do a little cap of some kind on top. Made out of what? I save everything. What? Hmm. What's that? Oh. Inspiration? Inspiration at this time of night? Never. Unfortunately, it's buried. Oh, that's what that was. Okay, well, that's interesting. Can I? Maybe not. Not so great. Maybe not so great. I don't know. I will have to try. Let me try. So these little shapes. I don't know why I have them. I forgot what the point of them had been. But there's one that's a little bicycle. Little tiny wooden laser cut shapes. There's an owl and some leaves and stuff. I think the kids, I got, maybe my wife got them for the kids for crafting, or I got them for the kids for crafting. I don't know. But we'd had them in the house for a while. And like not terrain crafting, but like, little kid crafting. Like, I'm going to make a picture for mommy. And it, but this little bicycle, cut out one of the, nope, too small. Makes him look like a princess. I'm a princess. I was thinking about, the sort of Arabic, the head covering, and it's got the circlet that goes around it, but it's just a little too small. I probably should have held it up first before doing all that snip work. Oh, well. It was fun while it lasted. Man alive. I have, and I think the only ones I have are at work, these little wooden bowls. They're, again, it's a crafting thing. And I had gotten them for, we do a storytelling thing with the kids with little peg people. And I had them for like the Last Supper kind of thing. I bought little bowls. You had to buy like 50 of them or whatever. Well, a dozen. And so I've got a bunch. And I could just wait, and I think one of those would probably work for a helmet, and that would allow me room to hide some of the folds I'm going to have to make in the paper towel. I haven't looked at the chat in a while. You've had excellent suggestions earlier. You may have had some since. Probably go to bed, you lunatic. Could make a hood. Well, that's kind of what I'm going for. I have never made it to Lake Geneva for conventions. I did go to Milwaukee. Gen Con was in Milwaukee when I was late high school. I'm wearing a donut. Why am I German? Why you keep making me German? I am not German. I am made in China, like everything else. Get in there. A Sonny Bono aluminum foil helmet. Crown of Holly. Holly or Holy. Holy Holly. Flying nun hat. A mummy wrap falling off of him, maybe, especially around his head to cover the back. Least he's not a nice small piece of fine wire. No. I could use the wooden discs. That would be a flat shield. I'm hoping the curved one works. Get out of there. Yeah, come on. I really like these for bases. To make